everybody. Welcome to the Hog channel. My name is Paul Abernathy. I am associated with Chief Hog, and today we're doing a special video, and we decided to make it a live to talk a little bit about TradeHog and answer questions, excuse me, that we've been getting since we launched the public release of TradeHog, and we have it up for you to try out, and many people, in fact, we had to even put a limit on it because the number of people that are testing it out is just crazy. The feedback we're getting from TradeHog is amazing. People are asking it questions. It is learning. We've even implemented a feature that actually remembers various questions that people ask. And so it's just going to grow. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about what TradeHog is about, why we did it, and who's it for. Because you're probably asking who the hell wants to use it, right? And why would you choose TradeHog over ChatGTP? That type of thing, okay? So first of all, I'll answer the first one first. So what is artificial intelligence? And what is it when it comes to using it for the trades? Again, all we're focused on is trades, whether you're plumbing, mechanical, whether you're a builder, whether you're a home inspector, a municipal inspector, all those type of things. Your life revolves around getting accurate information, whether it's documents from a manufacturer, things like that. It's all about the information and how accurate it is. And so what we wanted to do was take a base model of artificial intelligence, which is available on the internet. You can go look for it. The limitations are it's pretty general, and it's not focused on giving you things like code references or designed for you to ask questions that pulls back code references that's beneficial. That way, not only so you just take our word for it, because you should never do that, what you should do is it allows you to get you a start to go into that various documents that you utilize. And it's a constantly learning model. And so we're feeding it a lot of information. The paid release is going to come out in a couple weeks, and this public one goes away. But you get a chance to play with it right now. We may set up one that's very limited for you to play with. But there's going to be so many other features, and we'll have additional videos on all those other features as we launch them and release. But right now, we just want you to see the Hog and see what we're doing in the background and kind of give you some explanation, because again, I am getting inundated with questions, and I'm going to read a couple of the questions here about it. And so one of the questions is, Paul, how is, and if you don't know what TradeHog is, while you're watching this, jot it down, tradehog.net or .org, it doesn't matter. Definitely go test it out. But I want to answer some of the questions, and then we'll go look at TradeHog. We'll go look and talk to Chief Hog a little bit and see what we got. So one of the questions is, Paul, how does this differ from ChatGTP? Well, the typical public version of a ChatGTP is a less intelligent learning model that really doesn't remember things very well. And it kind of is very general, and it can bring back a lot of fluff that may be neat to read, but it's unnecessary and it takes up a lot of space. So our focus was to create a model that is nimble, that it works really designed to work on the mobile device. That's what our focus was on. Now I'll show you what it looks like here, but you won't be able to see it very well because of the green screen. Okay, I'm just telling you up front because of the green screen, but this is basically what it looks like. Okay, and again, you can't see it because of the green screen because we got that little green in the top and the bottom. Maybe we'll change that color at some point. But anyway, there it is. That's the mobile version. Okay, it's very nimble and quick, as you can see. Loads very easily. In the future, you'll have a gateway in order to get to your paid version, that type of thing. And we might have a little testing widget on that page. But anyway, so if you're in the field and you have those questions, and we're going to look and see what people have been asking, because it actually stores some of the questions that people ask and how you might use this in the field. So it's going to be great when you're in the field and you got those tough questions and you want to ask it. And again, as detailed as you want to be, that's what's going to help you get the best results. And so it's different than a normal GTP, which is basically just artificial intelligent bot, is that it's really focused and it's being trained on the model codes, that type of thing. Okay, you can ask it other things because it does pull from the basic GTP 4.0, but we're training it to be specific to the trade. And that's not just electrical trade. That's the plumbing trade, mechanical trade, building trades, home inspectors. We'll be uploading the NACHI standards of practice. We'll be uploading the ASHI standards of practice. We're going to be feeding this module. So it's only going to get better for you, but enough for me. And let's go look and see what we're talking about. Okay, because I know everybody wants to see what we're talking about. All right, so this is Chief Hog. Okay, I think he's pretty cool. He's a pretty burly little hog. And he is there to be your guide. Okay, now kind of give you a little navigation around the site. Eventually, we will have certain things that you'll have in this drop down that you can go to, where you can go to our shop and purchase swag or what stuff like that. But right now, we're just kind of working on the base model, and the base model is to allow you folks to get your hands on it. That's what we're really trying to do. Let you play with it, let you help the model. And then in the future, we're going to have people that are going to be official contributors who can contribute to the hog based on your jurisdiction around the country. That means you get involved. And that's going to be amazing collaborative. And we're looking for some little hoglets to help us as we grow this thing. And so again, one thing I will promise you, okay, let me do this real quick. Let me make you a promise. We are never going to sell out the hog. In other words, we're not going to have it where it's laden with commercials and things like this or ads or whatever. This is going to be a self-funded program that's just for you folks out there. And it's a step above any type of chat GTP, even the paid chat GTP. Okay. Our models not only bring in the OpenAI, but it also brings in models from other platforms like Google, the Gemini. It brings in other types of modality. All those type of things get brought into our thing. And we're going to be expanding it even more to where you can actually upload pictures and it will analyze a picture for you. Yeah, we're going to do all that kind of stuff. Maybe you have a picture of a manufacturer's label and you want more information. Yeah, our model in the future, when the enhanced one comes out, you're going to be able to take a snapshot of something in a panel and it will look at it, read it, and give you information on it. That's going to be a game changer for certain pieces of equipment that only has a partial label or something, and you want all the information you can get about that product. We're going to be uploading manuals from the manufacturers. It's only going to get smarter. Excited, aren't you? All right, I'm excited because I didn't have this when I grew up in the trade. Okay, so here we go. Here's the Chief Hog. So these are the models we're using right here, okay? The OpenAI models. These are the ones that we pay for, okay? We pay for the base OpenAI. And then what we do is, and this is Gemini, this comes from the Google, and it mixes them together. And we have it designed so it prompts important references, okay? So now we have a couple suggestions down here that you can play with, right? But down here is where you ask the hog. And you see that we're limiting this public edition. We're limiting it, okay, because we're simply getting inundated, okay? Now, the one way to do this, if you ask a bunch of stuff and it times out, you just come up here and click New Chat, and you can start a new process, that type of thing. And it remembers. So, but anyway, here we go. This kind of gives you an idea what the limits are that we're setting the system up. But here's where you type. It says, what do you want to ask Chief Hog, okay? Be as specific as you can, because again, the old saying, crap in is crap out. If y'all have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them the best I can. But remember, it's like anything. A question is, even when it comes to artificial intelligence, a question is only as good as the detailed question. Now, if you're over exhaustive with a bunch of fluff, then you're going to get fluff results. So you have to train yourself as a code professional. Whether you're an inspector, trade person, what you're asking is very important. But it also allows you to dig deeper, like say it gives you a code reference. You can even say, can you give me more information about this specific code reference? And it will dig deeper. So it's what's called an intuitive learning module. And we're incorporating it. We have designers behind the scenes. So we're not just using OpenGTP, which is not free, we pay for. But what we're doing also is training the module. So another feature is, like I said, see up here where it says questions? So this is pretty neat because it allows you to see what other people like you have been asking the hog. So let's just kind of go and see what it does here. Let's kind of test it out. So here's the hog. Okay, we have a question. I'm kind of blocking part of it. Okay, so I could move me real quick. Let me move me over here. Okay, so here we've got the hog and it says 22 amp motor. What size disconnect means? So that is pretty cool, right? So you're sitting there going, okay, I got a 22 amp motor. What is the size of the disconnecting means? The need for that. So this is very specific to the disconnecting means for a 22 amp motor. All right, so you can click here and it'll bring you the answer. What this does is this propagates down in the question box, okay? You've got what is required for gas piping and bonding. You've got all this kind of extra stuff here. So you got all these, and you see what it does. Watch this. I'll do this. So I'll hit this. You see how it propagates down here, right? So then we can just close this, and it gets down here. And what we can do is we can click send. And what it is, Chief Hog will look it up and give you some information. And when it comes to the disconnecting means, okay, this is based on what the disconnect, and this is just purely based on what it said here. So it tells you 430.110. You see it gives a code reference, the latest code edition. It says, according to the NEC, the disconnecting means for a motor must have an ampacity rating not less than 150% of the full load current rating of the motor. So this is assuming, based on your question, that the 22 amp motor, it said if it is, it says the disconnecting means should be rated at least 25.3. That means that you're taking the 22 at 115%, okay? So therefore, you would typically use a disconnect rated for at least 30 amps, as standard disconnect sizes are 30, 60, 100 amps. So again, the rating of the disconnect itself, okay? That's a rating. So you can ask additional questions. For example, I might go on and say, what is the FLC of a 10 horsepower single phase motor? Okay, maybe you don't know. You're going to ask it. We're doing this on the fly. Let's see what the Hog says. Check that out, folks. This is how smart the Hog is. Okay, let me show you this so you can really get this. It says table 430.248. According to the NEC table, the full load current FLC of a 10 horsepower single phase motor operates at 230 volts is 50 amperes. Okay, so all you got to do, if you're done with that, you go back up here and you click new chat, and you can start your journey again. We have other questions. Let's go to a couple other questions that we have up here. Let me see here. Let's do this. And let's see here. I will do questions again. And let's see here. Let's go down here. Can I run a grounding electric conductor in a raceway with feeders and branch circuits? Okay, let's see what the Hog says about this. I'm curious because that's a very vague question. So this is asking about grounding electrode conductor in a raceway with feeders and branch circuits. Okay, remember, it's a grounding electrode conductor, right? So let's send it to the Hog, see what the Hog says. Again, we're testing this stuff on the fly. So 230, it says 250.64E says, yes, you can run a grounding electric conductor in a raceway with feeders and branch circuits. According to NEC 2023, this section, it says a grounding electric conductor is permitted to be installed in a raceway, and it can be run with other conductors provided that the raceway is metallic and electrically continuous or non-metallic and listed for the purpose. Additionally, the grounding electric conductor must be installed in a manner that protects it from physical damage. And you can dig even deeper in here, okay? So you're able to run that in there, okay? That type of thing. Now, my advice is from a now, if you happen to want to train the model yourself, you can ask more details. So, for example, I can say, can you explain 250.64E in more detail, please? All right, got to be polite. Pig likes you when you. Pig likes politeness. Okay, by the way. And so, just kind of giving an example of how you can train the model and ask it more questions and let it go look. And here you see it brought back a lot of detail this time. Basically, it says, certainly, it talks about guides for installation of grounding electric conductors in raceways. And here are the main key points. And it pulls the main key points, okay? Protection, installation with the other conductors, okay? That type of thing. Now, the thing that I'll point out that is the bonding requirements. Remember? This is so important. So even the Hog is making it very clear here. If the raceway is metallic, it must be bonded to the grounding electrical conductor at both ends to maintain electrical continuity and ensure effective grounding, okay? These requirements ensure that the grounding electrical conductor is properly protected and maintains the integrity as part of the grounding system. Those type of things, okay? So, perfectly fine. Now, a lot of people say, well, in the service side, can you run it in there because it could create parallel paths? That all depends on how you make the connection. Well, you can ask the Hog. The Hog will go into more detail. Well, I'll remind you that you do have limits down here. So again, you can't have more than 10 requests per single visitor per hour because we have to limit the hog because this is the public version and we literally have tons of people using it, okay? So anyway, that's a kind of example. Now, another example is maybe you're walking in, you're new to a state and you're saying, what are the electrician licensing requirements for Texas? I get this question all the freaking time. People say, Paul, I'm coming to Texas, or I'm going to Texas, or I'm going to Virginia, and I want to know what the licensing requirements are in that state. Okay, well, this is an example of how you could ask it yourself, be very detailed in what you're trying to ask. Okay, remember, crap in, crap out. But our intelligent module is going to be pulling from databases from the different states. So we're going to be even more because we're going to be loading that in over the next couple of weeks. That's what Jeff does every day. But let's just answer the question here. So here's a suggested one to try it out. You see, I click that and it propagates it down here. And let's go on and click it. See what the hog has to say. As you can see, this can be a massive, impressive tool in the field, okay? It says, I'm sorry, but I can't provide specific license requirements as they are not covered by the NEC. However, I'm making checking with the TDLR. Okay, so you're saying, let me see if I can't convince the hog to give me the information. So I say information is on the TDLR website. So can you give me that info, please? And let's see what the hog says. I'm sorry, but I can't provide that licensing. Okay, so you say, okay, it's not giving me the accurate information. Okay, watch this. Let me do a new chat. And let me ask it differently. What are the master electrician license requirements in Texas? All right, let's see what happens. Let's see if we can see what we can do with the hog. Check that out. So remember, it's all about, so those prompts, you have to ask certain questions and it's going to be very protective of published information, especially from like a TDLR, but I ask it a more logical question. Okay, and it says to become a master electrician in Texas. So the other one was very broad. It just said electrician, too broad. Okay, do you want to be a journeyman? Want to be a master? But I ask it more specifically. I said, what are the master electrician license requirements? And then check this out. It says to become a master electrician in Texas, you must meet specific requirements set by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. While these requirements are not directly covered by the NEC, they're essential for licensure. Now, the reason it does it this way is because we are training this model to be very specific to codes and standards, right? Plumbing codes, mechanical. So that's how we're training the module. So it means you might have to ask a question that kind of is a very broad subject. It's not code specific because that's what we're building. But by doing this, you can get around the hog and the hog will say, you know what? I know what you're trying to get. You're trying to get basic information. So here's what it does. So here you go. It's telling you, you must have at least 12,000 hours of on-the-job training under a supervised master electrician. And then you must have held your journeyman's license for at least 2 years. You have to take a test, obviously, and you have to apply, okay? So no NEC code applies directly to licensing requirements, but the NEC is a critical component of the knowledge test in the examination, okay? And it reminds you to go here. Now, like you say, well, what's the TDLR's website? Maybe you don't know. You're like, I want to know what the TDLR website. Ask it. Say, what is the TDLR website? Just ask it. And hit enter. So you can kind of see what this, boom, right here. There it is right there. You can cut and paste it, right click, copy it, whatever, and that'll take you right to it. Okay, TDLR, official website. So if you're on your mobile device, it may bring up a link that you can click. Okay, I'm not on a mobile, I'm streaming, so it's blocking a lot of links and stuff like that. But the point is, right there at your fingertips. When you're done, just clear it, and you can see that in this hour, we had 10 requests being used by visitors, and then 8 by me. So I want to show you what happens if you use your 8 per current user. Okay, so I'll ask it another question here. Let's see. Can I do electrical work? Let's add this one. Can I do electrical work in Virginia without an electrician's license? Let's just ask it. See what it says. Okay, in Virginia, performing electrical work typically requires a license according to the Virginia Board of Contractors. An individual must be licensed to perform electrical work unless they are working under a supervision of a licensed contractor or are performing work that is exempt under this condition. One exemption, by the way, is a homeowner doing their own work. That's an exemption. Still got to get permits, still got to get inspections, okay? So again, a reminder, while the NEC doesn't cover licensing, it's important to note that any electrical work must be performed to the NEC standards, such as the NEC 110.3 manufacturer's instructions, which require that installation be performed in a workmanlike manner. Always check with the local regulations, the Virginia Department of Professional Occupational Regulation, yada, yada, yada. And there are exemptions on there, that type of thing. So amazing type of resource, okay? So somebody asked a question, says the answer's from the 2023 because it's always doing it. It's not going to know what you're on. So we have it trained to always look for the latest model, okay, which is the 2023. If you want it under the 2020, then you just simply make sure that you ask for the 2020. Remember I said be very descriptive and ask for it under the 2020, that type of thing, because it can't possibly know what code cycle is adopted in your area. So you have to ask it. You have to train it, that type of thing, okay? So you would just simply ask the type of question, right? So let me do something real quick. Let me refresh. Okay. And you see how it remembers? I want to show you this. See how it remembers my usage? You're going to be very limited, okay? Because we can't have people just doing 50 million of them. This is designed to be used in the field to answer a specific question, not to be a research document. Now, the premium side is going to be a little bit easier, but at the end of the day, this is a free model. So you have to ask the question, right? So, for example, if I hit a question here, let's do this. Let's do this question right here. So this question says, transformer secondary conductors over 25 feet. So this is an example of a poor question, because what do you want to know about those? What do you want to know about those type of things? So we have to say, under the 2020 NEC, what are the conductor sizing rules for transformer secondary conductors over 25 feet? So I'll click it, see what the check, we'll see what the hog brings back. But you see what I'm saying? You've got to ask it certain questions and to know what it's looking for, okay? So here you see it brought the reference back, 2020 NEC, code references. It says 240.21c6, it says the 2020 NEC provides specific rules sizing transformer secondary conductors over 25. According to 240.21c6, secondary conductors can be over 25 in length if they meet certain conditions. And it talks about the various conditions, okay? And it brings it into a logical, here's the one thing that's beautiful. It brings it back in a common sense, logical way, not too cozy. It allows you to read it and see it. But the model is smart. But you got to remember that it is always going to be tuning itself to the latest edition. If you want an earlier model, remember what I say up here? Be specific in your question. And that's an example. Notice how I use the reference. Okay, crap in, crap out. It's always part of that process. But if you got to agree that this is quite amazing to have this in your pocket to be able to do that. Okay, now I want to show you what happens since I've got all the requests so you don't get freaked out. So you see down here where it says 10 requests from all visitors, but I've got 10 requests from the current user. Now watch what happens when I ask another question here. Watch what happens. I'm going to say, I'm just going to type, what about in the 2023 NEC? Now watch what happens. So that you can get an idea. There you go. See this? It says limits are reached. The number of requests from a single user per hour has been reached. In order to generate more text, sign up for the premium service. Okay, so we're going to have a premium service. Again, you can sign up. You would click that, and you would sign up. We don't have that activated right now. Okay, so, and most people aren't going to use more than 10 in an hour, but we want to, you can get your responses based on how well you ask the questions, right? So that's the kind of model that we're trying to work on. Get what I'm saying? All right, so has anybody got any questions about the TradeHog? And I'm more than happy to answer them. It is something that we're working on. It is going to be enhanced. It's going to also, if you want to get it and you have a mobile device, you can scan the QR code that's right there on the lower left. If you're on your desktop, you can scan that QR code and you can get it on your your phone. You can save it to your desktop. But yeah, we're training the model to allow anybody to use it that wants quick, reliable answers. And if you need to follow up, you can ask a follow up. So, for example, you could have said the answer could have been given to us in the 2023, and you know what we could have said? Can you review this for the 2020 NEC and tell me if there's any changes? That's an easier way because it's a learning process. It actually will look back at what you ask, and it will actually be able to do that. Now, ChatGTP does that. However, it's usually limited. And did you see in our example when I asked the question and it was telling you about the NEC, and it was saying about NEC and what's not included and all that stuff? That's because we're training that model, and it's only looking for very specific stuff. So it doesn't fill you up with all this other fluff because we realize that the space on your phone is limited. And this is not designed to be a research tool for people, right? If you want to do that, then go get ChatGTP. This is going to be modeled with the ability to help somebody in the field get answers very quickly. So what are we talking about pricing? People are asking me email questions all the time about pricing. So pricing, we're looking at $20 for the basic TradeHog, and we're looking at $29.95 for the premium model. The premium model is not going to have the same limitations, but it's also going to have other things like its own dedicated mobile app. It's going to have a forum that's private member only, that you can ask additional questions in there, share content. You get to be a part of the Hog team, which means that you can help send stuff to us to be able to upload into the system to make it smarter, and it's only going to benefit you. So in other words, if you are in Texas, and Texas has various regulations and rules, right? And you want to ask questions to make sure you don't breach the rules. We want to stay out of trouble. So rather than have to hunt through TDLR's website or do it, what you can do is if you're a premium member, you let us know what state you're in. We will get that data together. We will pull together rules and regulations, and we will load that in. So it makes it smarter for not just you, but everybody else. But you will get the benefit of that. So that's some of the things that we're going to be adding into the Hog that's just going to make it better. It's just going to make it much nicer. It's going to be a learning model, okay, that type of thing. So there's already so much excitement. We've already had a couple people contact us about wanting to be sponsors. I don't do sponsorship. We're not selling ad space on here. We're not putting a banner for somebody. We're not trying to make money off of clicks. That is not my interest. Y'all know that my interest is to help the industry. And so I sat there one day thinking, what can I do? Because I can't answer all the questions that get sent to paulabernathy.com. I try, but I can't answer them all. So I said, well, you know what? Wouldn't it be nice to utilize AI technology, but keep it focused to the trades? I let you work around it and ask Chief Hog some stuff, but I wanted to tailor it toward the trades. So I didn't want it to be generic. I want it to be very specific. And I wanted to make it in a way that is only for use for tradesmen in the field. Now, that doesn't mean that a home inspector can't use it. I would encourage them to use it because if they're going to already be citing stuff, they need to make sure that they run something through the Hog. If they want to, if I'm dealing with a plans examiner, it's nice to be able to throw stuff in there as well. Okay, that type of thing. So it's just kind of one of those type of things to be aware of, that it's going to constantly be learning, and that's what you're doing. So Look for the premium version to come out in a couple weeks, and that'll just unlock the doors. We're working in the back end, getting the forums, getting all the stuff right on the back end, getting the app built, because it has its own app that you'll be able to get. It just makes life so much easier. You can just tap it. Don't have to go to any website. You just tap it and the hog will come right on your phone. We're working on that. So that's getting going in the background. People have asked what's going on. So we're working on the hog in the background, working on his knowledge base. Jeff's working on the knowledge base platform. Darlene is helping me with the folder situation on what we need for the forums. And I'm the one that's developing the app. So I do that when I got time, that type of scenario. So yeah, it don't look like we have any questions. People aren't asking any questions. Again, the 501, I appreciate you asking a question. But that's what the hog is all about. And maybe you don't find it useful, but if you're sitting out there and you have questions, then the hog is going to be useful for you. So TradeHog is one of those things that we know it's not going to be for everybody. It wasn't designed for everybody. I don't make stuff for everybody, like the Fast Tracks Tube, okay, our video platform. It's not for everybody. Our programs over on Fast Track Systems, they're not for everybody. Hate us, love us, whatever, we're constantly coming out. Oh, I should say, by the way, for those that have our mobile app, let me show you real quick. For those that have our mobile app, I just want to let you know, so this is our mobile app. Okay, hold on, let it load. There you go. So that's our mobile app. Y'all are familiar with it. You can get this from our website, fasttracksystem.com. In this mobile app, we have added a link to TradeHog. So if I click it right there, y'all will see that TradeHog will come up. There you go. The reason you see this top piece here is because it's got a green background, that type of thing. But anyway, you see how quickly that pops up on your phone. So we have added that to the mobile app. If you don't have our mobile app, you need to go get it because we got calculators on there. We have a chat feature on there. We have our blogs. We got a very detailed blog coming out in the next couple of days on the TradeHog, a little bit of history of why we did it and some of the features that are coming and what's available now. You can shop for our swag on here. You can listen to Coffee Hour every morning from here. Just click on the thing. So this is a great, and it has tons of great calculators. You can even listen to our podcasts from here. We have the #1 electrician podcast in the industry. You can listen to it directly from here. You don't have to have any other secondary thing, right from your phone. You need calculators. You need to do anything for calculations, all right here. You've got tons of resources. It's all free, okay? Here, let me show you these resources real quick. See these resources? These are clickable resources. You've got the Let's Ask Paul resource, so you can go ask me questions directly from there. You got motor cutter calculations. You got transformer calculation tools. You have fault current calculator on here. So much extra stuff. It's all free on our mobile app. So if you don't have our mobile app, why? Even if you don't like me, I'm just saying that's what we're here for. All right, folks, that is it. Not a real talkative bunch. I get it. No worries. No questions. That's fine. So let's real quick go back to the hog. And let's see here. So you can see the hog has reached his limit. Okay. So if I were to go refresh it just to see, I'll show you how it remembers you. You see the hog says it's at the limit. All right, so watch this. Let me open a separate browser. And let's see here. So I'm opening a separate browser. And let me do something real quick. Bear with me real quick. Let me try something else here. Let me get the hog in a separate browser. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share this one instead. So I have a hog in a separate browser, right? And you see that it remembers my usage, okay? Remembers the usage that you're in here. So that's important. The only way you get rid of that usage is if you cleared your cookies and cleared everything. Otherwise, it's going to remember the usage and it will reset for you at the end of an hour. Okay, that's the limitation that we have for the free version, that type of thing. Okay, let's see here. What else do I want to test on here for you? Let's see. Let's do that. Let's see here. Let me bring you. I closed everything out for you, so let's bring you back to me. You don't need to see all that stuff. Okay. So, anywho, that's the hog. And you'll get to do 10 searches, and you can do 10 separate ones if you want. You get to do that every hour to play with it. And so we're limiting it right now. Go test it out. There's already some pre-done searches in there, or try it out. See what you can find, and let us know your feedback on the hog. So again, that's it, folks. Just want to do a quick live and kind of talk about the TradeHog a little bit. It is our latest thing. We will be heavily pushing it. We will be looking at bundling it with some of our courses, some of our stuff that we have, and also incorporating it over into the Fast Tracks tube. That's going to be awesome to be able to incorporate it there. And so again, we love the idea of it, and we love how you can use it on your phone in the field to get quick responses. For example, I can go right here now. And check this out. I went to my phone, totally different browser. Remember, no cookies, not associated with my desktop. And guess what? I have the ability to use it right now and ask 10 more questions, okay? Because this is a different browser. It looks at me as a different user, that type of thing. So again, there's ways around it, but again, we're just trying to limit it so that we don't overwhelm the hog, okay? John says, appreciate explaining the hog to me. I'm definitely trying this in the near future. Yeah, if you get on the job and you find yourself asking a question and you think, well, crap, this is a good time to try out TradeHog. Go and try it out. Ask it a question. Be detailed with it. Because again, you get 10 uses per hour. So the more detailed you can be means you don't have to have as many follow-up questions. So again, that's a little advice for people. Right? We don't want to overwhelm the hog. All right? All right, folks. Hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining me on this live stream. If you have any questions, you can also send them to info@tradehog.net. That's info@tradehog.net. We will answer any of your questions. Again, look for the premium service with much more bells and whistles to come here in the next couple weeks while we're still feeding and training the hog. Until then, you get to enjoy the free version that's on tradehog.net. Give it a shot. Till next time, folks, stay safe. God bless. And we'll see you on another live video somewhere in the future.